Today, you know exactly what I'm going to be sharing about tonight. And it's the importance of being kind and why we really all need to double down on doing it. I have times we slip into those behaviors. So I want us all to talk about the significance of being kind, especially to yourself as you're pursuing your health goals or your entrepreneurial goals, right? I want you to think about the self talk that you have in your head. And I will tell you from the people that I have talked to, it is often awful. And you would never let anybody talk to your friend that way, would you? Right? And so tonight I want to share there were two instances. The first was a young Korean boy who went to school with food from his family who was teased and didn't want to ever bring his food that he loves the most back to school again. Guys, we got to talk to our kids. We got to talk to the adults around us. We've got to realize that, man, that's probably the best food that was in that cafeteria. We've all been there with hot lunch, right? Imagine a homemade meal of all your favorites from your mom or dad, right? And then the second was this morning while I was burning the early morning oil, I was getting my blood tested for my annual physical. I feel really grateful that I don't have sick visits and haven't since 2017, but I do go annually to make sure all my numbers are in alignment and just check on my health. And I recommend you do that too. It is well worth it. And while I was the first person in line, just a blood draw, the person behind me decided to bully the receptionist because the receptionist, who happened to be a middle aged woman in a very busy medical practice, was wearing a mask. And that person found that offensive and was really kind of rude. No, not kind of, she was rude. And I was so impressed that it's obviously not the first, second, third, or 20th time this has happened because the receptionist handled it beautifully. But guys, we have got to stop bullying each other. We have got to stop trolling each other. I remember the first time I felt that our national discourse here in the United States was really starting to fall apart. And it was when a president was addressing Congress and someone in the audience yelled out a personal attack. And I was stunned. I was raised a military brat, right? It doesn't matter who the president is. You vote for who you vote for, but then you salute who gets the office and you thank them that they are willing to go through what it means to be the president, right? I was shocked. And it's just kind of gotten worse since then. It's like we broke a seal. And so we're all in this stage where I feel like we're kind of teenagers as a country and we need to grow up fast because with this election that's coming up, it's not going to get any better. And so what I want to say is no ma'am and no sir. I want to say no to rudeness, no to being a bully, no to being thoughtless of others. And we need to start expecting more of ourselves and more of our colleagues and friends, right? The only way this is going to work is if we walk with people instead of standing on issues. And that means not attacking the rude people. Oh, right. I made a joke in my post where I said, I feel like I need to carry a timeout chair with me and be like, you might just need a little break. It sounds like you're not in great shape today. But I'm telling you, if we all work on being kinder together, that's the only way this is going to get better because I believe in unity. I believe in patriotism. I believe in love. I believe in supporting each other. And the way to get to where we all want to be is to embody that and then to also encourage others when they're doing that and to discourage others when they aren't. And so what I recommend, if you see something and you feel like you need to say something, I would just check in with the person and say, are you okay? You're really being hurtful to this other person. Are you okay? Because the likelihood is they're not. That behavior comes from pain. That behavior comes from ignorance. That behavior comes from loss. And if somebody is lashing out in public, if somebody is bullying in public, the chances are they're not in a great space. And so I would invite you not to go on the offensive, but I would invite you to start a conversation. And the great person to follow to talk about this is Carlos Whitaker. He goes by Low Swit on Instagram, and he has an amazing new book called How to Be Human. And he has a great tour where he's talking, but his argument is when we're always against each other, nothing's going to happen. When we stop and we truly try to listen, and when we walk our talk, things are going to get better. So I'm asking you tonight to join me in doing that, because that's the only way we're going to feel like things are getting under control. So I want you to shout out below something kind that you're going to try to do this week. And let's all see if we can't kind of start a little bit of a wave here, right? We don't need necessarily cute pictures on Instagram or Facebook or social media. What we need is kindness. So let's start spreading that. I can't wait to see you back here tomorrow night, live around 5. And I'm so glad to be back. Love you guys.